have Pat selected as our next presenter at.
In Japan, there is a famous type of pepper known as the shishito. It's unique because it's often just as mild as a bell pepper, but around 1 in every 10 will be spicier than a jalapeno. This makes for a pretty fun game of pepper roulette. Unless you're like me, of course, and you can't even handle the spice of a bell pepper. You see, growing up in my house, the spiciest food I ever encountered was basically ketchup, making it hard for me to put in perspective what spicy really meant, up until coming to Massey, of course, when I visited our annual multicultural dinner. There was food from all over the world, and people were smiling and enjoying all types of delicious-looking goodies. And it seems like a great night, right? There was just one problem for me. It seemed like even the plain pasta was too spicy for me. And so I stayed close to the Canada themed stand, where I ate maple syrup treats for most of the night. I started to think that there had to be some solution to my spice intolerance. For most of the night, how could they eat the food with smiles on their faces when I couldn't even come close to it? Which is why I came up with what I like to call my Great Spicy Cheeto Experiment, or SciCan for short. I'll show you what I did first, and then I'll do a quick explanation of why it worked. I started off by going out and buying a couple bags of flaming hot spicy Cheetos, which I divided up into daily servings of 20 grams. Enough for 10 unlucky volunteers over the course of 2 weeks. This totaled 140 bags, or almost 11 pounds of spicy Cheetos. I handed them out, and after the volunteers finished their first bags, they were asked to rate their pain, or spice perception, on a scale of 1 to 100, similar to a pain scale that you'd see in hospitals. I gave them a week of eating the spicy Cheetos, and then I asked them again, and again after 2 weeks. You can see that almost all of the participants said that they felt the snacks get less spicy by the end of the 2 weeks. In fact, there was an average decrease of 15.8% in spice perception from start to finish, with some subjects even reaching a 30% decrease. These are some good-looking numbers for my solution, so I'll be starting my Cheeto diet soon. Now, why does this actually work? The reason the participants felt the burn was because of a chemical known as capsaicin. Capsaicin is pretty neat because it confuses the tongue's TPRV1 receptors. These are receptors that monitor temperature. The spice makes the receptors send signals to the brain, which makes you feel that your mouth is actually on fire. However, it's possible that exposing these receptors to capsaicin again and again will desensitize their nerve endings, making the test subject not feel the burn as badly. This is probably why many of you can finish an entire bag of these spicy Cheetos without even feeling a thing. Interestingly enough, the menthol that you can find in gum has the opposite effect on your mouth. It makes your brain feel that there's something very cold. This is why at the beginning of my experimenting, I thought, why don't I just eat gum when I'm trying to eat spice? Well, trust me, this makes it much, much worse. The two chemicals target slightly different receptors in the mouth, so that it feels like freezing and burning at the same time. At the end of this experiment, I learned that no matter where you come from, we're all the same on the inside, especially when it comes to our trigeminal receptors. I know, it's a little cheesy. Get it? Cheesy?